Governments have financed wars by expanding the money supply, debasing the currency, across multiple centuries. The documented sequence is similar each time. This is an archive of historical events. No predictions, no tickers, the record as it stands. Chapter 1. The American Continental Congress. 1775 to 1781. The Continental Congress lacked the authority to levy taxes. To fund the Revolutionary War, it printed paper currency, continental dollars, backed by no commodity and no credible redemption promise. By 1779, Congress had issued approximately $240 million in continentals. The money supply expanded 30-fold in 4 years. Inflation in the continental dollar reached over 2,000% by 1780. The phrase "not worth a continental" entered the language as a description of worthless money. The continental dollar effectively collapsed by 1781. War finance reverted to loans from France and the Netherlands and domestic bond issuance from individual states. Chapter 2. The French assignats. 1789 to 1796. Following the Revolution, the French National Assembly nationalized church lands and issued assignats, paper notes backed by the value of those lands. Initially used for specific fiscal purposes, assignat issuance was repeatedly expanded to fund government expenditure and the revolutionary wars against the European coalitions. By 1794, the total value of assignats in circulation had reached 33 billion livres. The original land backing was exhausted. Assignats traded at 3 to 4% of face value. Hyperinflation followed. The Directory abandoned assignats in 1796, replacing them with mandats territoriaux, which also collapsed within months. Chapter 3. The Confederate States of America. 1861 to 1865. The Confederate government lacked reliable tax revenue. It financed the Civil War primarily through bond issuance and paper currency, Confederate dollars, not backed by specie. Confederate money supply expanded approximately 9-fold between 1861 and 1865. Inflation over 4 years reached over 9,000%. By 1865, a Confederate dollar purchased less than 2 cents of goods measured in pre-war values. The currency ceased to function before the war ended. Chapter 4. Weimar Germany. 1918 to 1923. Imperial Germany financed the First World War primarily through domestic bond issuance rather than taxation, expecting to impose reparations on the defeated powers. Germany lost. The post-war Weimar government faced reparation obligations it could not meet through taxation alone. When France and Belgium occupied the Ruhr in 1923, the German government funded passive resistance, paying workers to stop, by printing. The result was the most documented hyperinflation of the 20th century. By November 1923, the exchange rate stood at 4 trillion Reichsmarks per US dollar. Prices doubled approximately every 4 days. The hyperinflation was ended by the Rentenmark, a new currency backed by a mortgage on German industrial and agricultural land, issued in November 1923. Chapter 5. The Common Sequence. For cases, the Continental Dollar, the French assignat, the Confederate Dollar, Weimar Germany, across for centuries, for different monetary systems, for different conflicts. In each case, the government facing military expenditure that taxes could not fund issued currency or purchased its own debt with printed money. The money supply expanded faster than output. The documented sequence, expansion of money supply to fund expenditure, followed by price inflation, followed by currency collapse or replacement, followed by a new monetary arrangement. In each case, the collapse of the war finance currency was followed by economic disruption. In 3 of 4 cases, the post-collapse arrangement involved external creditors or imposed fiscal constraints. The pattern does not require a world war. The threshold is fiscal expenditure that cannot be funded by taxation or credible borrowing, and a government with the ability to issue its own currency. This is what the historical record shows. The archive stays open.